Every golfer's dream is to get a hole-in-one. What if I told you I can give you knowledge to increase your chances of getting a hole-in-one? I had some knowledge which I used to my advantage, which got me this. What I'm going to tell you in this video will definitely leapfrog you ahead of any other beginner golfers in the golfing world. What's up guys, welcome back to the next Golfy Bros Company video. Today we're going to be speaking about Loft. What is Loft and how do we use it? So as you can see guys, I've got a makeshift tee lying on its side here. Right, so this vertical straw over here will resemble Loft, and this horizontal straw here will resemble the ball flight, or the way the ball is going to react to when we create Loft, right? So if I take this straw and I start creating Loft, which means tilting it at an angle like this, you can see how the ball trajectory here is starting to change. It's starting to change as we tilt this way. So if we go back to 0 and I start tilting, creating Loft on the club face over here, 1 degree, 2 degree, you can see how the ball flight is changing over here off the club face. So I'm changing it. You can see how the ball flight is gonna react to the change in Loft as we create that. So guys, Loft and distance correlate with one another. This is what we got to understand. So there's a lot of physics involved in this, but don't feel intimidated. I'm going to take you through everything step by step so you can understand how Loft and distance work together and how we can use Loft to our advantage when we're playing golf in different situations. So knowing different lofts of our clubs, for example, the ball flight like this, we can use this to our advantage playing different golf shots. Okay guys, so what I've done here to give you a better visual representation of what Loft is, I've stuck the straw on the face of my driver here, right? Just so you can see what 9 degrees of Loft looks like. So my driver's at 9 degrees, so quite naturally if I'm hitting the ball square and in the center, this is how the ball will fly, off 9 degrees. I've brought out my 8 iron just to show you the difference between the two clubs, between the driver and the 8 iron, and how much Loft is created with an 8 iron. If I have to hit the ball center, off center, look how much the trajectory's changed here on this club. So that's just an example of how much the Loft has changed between the two clubs. I've brought out even more lofted club. This is my lob wedge, which we said in previous videos we would use around the greens to create more spin and to lift the ball higher. So as you can see, there's quite a vast difference between the driver and the lob wedge over here when it comes to Loft and creating Loft and which way the ball is going to fly. So if I'm coming through and I'm hitting this ball square in the face over here in the center, I'm going to create that sort of trajectory of the ball. So that's where we can use this club to our advantage, is to get it over things, out of a bunker, all these type of things. We can use this club for those advantages that we can use around the course. Loft is a fixed number, but it changes player to player. That's what we got to understand. That's got to do with speed. And this is where I'm going to explain to you guys in the next clip, in the next part of this video, how distance and Loft work together. So guys, I hope you have sort of an understanding of what Loft is now. So what I've done is I've put together a little clip for you guys so you can see Loft in action. guys, don't be intimidated by all the writing, because there is going to be a diagram, a demonstration where I'll go step by step through everything with you guys to explain to you how the loft and distance work together. So guys, let's jump into understanding loft and distance, right? Excuse my Picasso drawing here. Yeah, it's just a rough drawing to get you guys to understand how loft and distance correlate with one another, and how we're going to find our distances so we can use them properly on the golf course. So don't feel intimidated about the numbers. We'll go through it together. I'll go through it with you now, just so you guys can see what's going on. So for this exercise, I've put my golf clubs here so you guys can see how I work my distances, and then you can take this and put it into exercise for when you're trying to find distances for your golf clubs. Okay, guys, so how do we find our distances here? Okay, so what we got to do first, guys, is we got to pick a club between all our clubs here, which is preferably the 7-iron to start with, which is over here. As you can see, it's at 34 degrees loft, my 7-iron. So what I would suggest you guys do is you go to the driving range and you hit a few balls, and you pick out a marker at the driving range, say a 150 marker at the driving range, right? And you take your club and you start hitting the ball, right? So you got to find out what club hits what distance. So start with your 7-iron, right? For example, my 7-iron, I hit 150 meters. Okay, for example, because I went to the driving range and I know I hit 150 meters with my 7-iron right over there. Now, guys, as you can see, between the lofts of each club, oh, and by the way, the lower the number goes, the further the distance is that we're going to be hitting the ball. As you can see, the loft changes between each club is round about 5 degrees, 4 to 5 degrees between each club. Now, what these degrees represent for me, for this exercise, is a 10-meter difference between each club. All right. So I know that I hit my 7-iron 150 meters. So what do I hit my 6-iron now? So I know that between clubs, there's 10 meters difference. So over here, I would know that I hit my 6-iron 160 meters, right? What would I hit my 8-iron? My 8-iron would be 140 meters, because I know it changes like it in distance. Now, because I know what I hit my 7-iron, I can more or less tell what I'm going to be hitting all my other clubs, right? So if we go through it quickly, I hit my 9-iron 130 meters, pitching wedge 120 meters. Gap wedge is like a lob wedge, but it's a wedge. It's called a gap wedge. It's between the pitching wedge and the sand wedge, right? It fills that gap. So that's 110 meters. Sand wedge, 100 meters. And my lob wedge, I know this because I've tested it, it's between 90 and 80 meters, right? If I move up my clubs, I know I hit my 5-iron 170 meters, my 4-iron 180 meters. My 3 hybrid is not a 3-iron, so I hit this a little bit further than I would a 3-iron. I hit this about 210 meters, and on average I'm hitting my driver about 240 meters. So just from determining, guys, my 7-iron at the driving range, I can more or less tell what I'm going to be hitting what club, the distances. So guys, you must be wondering what this hole is here for. Okay, now on a golf course, right, we've got these markers that are on either side of the fairways. You'll see them They're there for a reason, guys. It's not there just for show. They're there for a reason. Let me just grab my other marker. So this is our T box over here, guys. T box. And from here to the end of the hole, we are given a certain meterage that the hole would be. Say for argument's sake, for this hole, we're dealing with, let's call it 340 meters. The length of this whole hole, right? So now I go and I hit my golf ball. Say, for example, I hit off the tee, not such a good shot, and my golf ball lands over here, right? Now, if I don't have GPS systems or any of the new technology, I can determine how far I am still away from the hole. How do I do that? So I look out for these stakes, which they've put on the golf courses, right? Which have a meterage to them. So it goes up to 50 sometimes a year. I've done it up to 100 this time. But it can go up to 50 this stake of a year. But let's, for argument's sake, call this one 100. So this one is the 100-meter left to the front of the green. The measurements are to the front of the green, guys. So 100 meters, then you get a 151. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here. And then there's a 201, and sometimes even a 251, right? So let's get back to hitting our bad shot. So I've hit my shot and the ball's landed over here, right? Now I look for these markers, okay? And I'll walk to these markers, right? And then I'll take a step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, for argument's sake, right? Then I know, okay, 150 plus 10 is 160 meters. So I'm still 160 meters away from the hole, if that makes sense. I hope this is all making sense to you guys right now. So from where I'm lying over here, now I know, I need to use my 6-iron. So then I grab my 6-iron out my bag because I know I hit it 160 meters, and I hit, okay? And I hit, but I don't hit the sweetest shot to get it to the green. It lands round about here. So just behind the 100-meter mark, okay? Now what club do I use? I do the same exercise what I did over there. So what I do is go to the 100-meter marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I walk my steps out. My steps are around a meter. And then say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 106 meters left to the front of the green, right? So I know, okay, I'm between clubs here, but I'm going to take my gap wedge because it's around about 110, okay? And I'm just going to hit a softer gap wedge. Or I can hit a full gap wedge because this measurement, right, is to the front of the green. So to get it around about where the pin is, I have to add a few meters on there. So I can use my gap wedge there and say I hit the shot, boom, next to the hole, right? So guys, I hope this isn't too much information for you. If you do have questions about this, please let me know. But this is basically just the basics of determining distances of your clubs, right? And how Loft works with distance and the club head speed that we're hitting through the ball. Okay guys, before we finish off this video, I would like to show you guys how I got my hole-in-one and how I used Loft to my advantage to get this hole-in-one. So on that particular day, on that par 3 where I hit the shot, it was 135 meters from the tee box to the hole on that particular day. So quite naturally, I would select a 9-iron, right, to hit that shot. But on this specific day, the wind was howling this way into us, into the tee box. So I knew if I have to take my 9-iron, which I would usually cover that shot with no wind, that I would probably fall short, right? So what I did is I selected my 7-iron, guys. Right here, you can see the loft difference is 42.5 degrees and 34 degrees, which means the flight of the ball here will fly a lot lower. Why did I do this? So knowing that the wind was blowing on that day, and if I had to hit that normal shot of mine with a 9-iron, it would fall short. So what I did is I selected my 7-iron, guys, so I could hit underneath the wind, right? So that's exactly what I did. I selected my 7-iron and I hit an easy shot underneath the wind, which the trajectory of the ball was a lot flatter than usual. And what happened was I couldn't really see it, sorry. But what happened was I saw where the pitch mark was and must have taken a bounce and gone in or trickled into the hole. But this is why I took the 7-iron. So this is where I use Loft to my advantage, guys. And this is what this episode of Golfy Bros Company is about. It's how we can use our tools, our golf clubs, to get us a hole-in-one or to do well on the golf course. So I hope this was extremely valuable to you guys. Sorry about all my Picasso drawings, guys, but I tried. So I hope that you guys got an idea now about Loft and how we can use this Loft to our advantage when we're playing golf. It's critical to know this, and this information is definitely going to leapfrog you ahead of any other beginner golfers now that are starting to play golf. So guys, I hope you can grasp this information and use it in your next round of golf. See you next time. Peace.